has been one heck of a day, long day for me, Ryan, Glenn, Stan, and Rohan. We've all been at it a little longer than usual today. Obviously, you see the graphic on the screen. It is transfer deadline day. We've got a lot to get to. So let's get into it.
West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
So we're all freshly showered. We are all change of clothes from earlier today. And back at it here. Same old Arsenal USA. We'll just go around the horn. Let's check in with everybody. Rohan, how are you, sir?
I'm all right. I'm pissed off, actually. I was pissed off with...
Let's go!
I was pissed off with the Man City game. And then earlier today,
I forgot that happened.
Mates linked up with absolute superstars of Arsenal podcasting, and I sort of got left out. And there were like some gems from that show, that 5-hour show. So whoever's not seen it, do check it out. You know, especially the part with
those guys.
Absolutely love that. You know, so pissed off that I wasn't there, but great job, guys, and lots to talk about. You know, excited.
Hey, thanks. Ryan, how you feel?
I'm actually very excited because I just found out. So I bring my beers from the fridge all in the kitchen. I bring them in here and I kind of lay them out, so I have to like keep going back and forth. So I grab like three beers. And as I'm walking, I'm like, I just like had this brilliant idea. I was like, Megan, we have to I need a mini fridge. It would just be perfect. Like it would just help so much with everything. I was like, let's put one on the registry. Megan's like, I already did. And I was like, all right, I'm not podcasting tonight. We're going to the courthouse. We're getting married right fucking now. My mind's blown. I love her so much, and she's the best. But all right, easy. You just made it weird. No, but yeah, I'm besides that. I'm actually. Man City's game was Man City's game, and where while it did make me laugh, it was embarrassing. But I'm so excited, and I'm going to probably gush about Tomiyasu the entire podcast. So you guys can think I'm weird, call me out, fine. But I'm real excited for this for the signing. And I think it's going to really help us out. And if Arteta can't get him and the rest of the team to keep his – well, I shouldn't say keep his job. But if he can't get this team ticking with what he brought in and what we can do – and I'm not saying we're going to beat City if we play Tomiyasu. I'm not saying we're going to beat Chelsea. But – the running games we have, if we can't get some points together, then I think this would be the easiest decision that the Arsenal hierarchy has ever made in their entire existence about sacking Arteta. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Glenn, how are you, sir?
Thoroughly disgusted with our transfer business, and I'm looking forward to talking about it when we begin.
I love you, Glenn.
I don't know. I feel like this is Glenn. I feel like Glenn he's also in the chat box. I know it's not Glenn, but Angry Gooner is with us tonight. Stan, how are you, sir?
I'm good, and not to be outdone by Ryan, and my missus also sometimes tunes in. I too also love my missus and love all the things that she does for me. So if you're listening,
I forgot to add one thing.
Don't forget Mom.
Oh yeah, hi Mum. Mum's feeling a lot better as well. So
good.
All good.
Thank you.
I have to say that I, for one, I'm really glad that the transfer window's shut now. I'm glad it's done. I'm really glad
happy.
Finally shut. And I can't wait to talk to all of you about what our thoughts are about what's going on.
Well,
I just wanted to add one
Right.
other thing. Transfer day for me was bad enough, but I want to thank Ryan and Stan for making me throw up a little bit in my mouth. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, what's the matter? Glad you haven't caught the love bug?
I've been married for 20 years. That bug's been dead a long time.
Take
Just
it out.
let him know, Large Marge sent you.
No, go
Well,
ahead.
Stan, let's get into it. I guess, you know what? I'll start with you. How do you feel about the transfer window?
I'm glad it's done. And I mean, at the end of the day, I was kind of like ticking boxes off in my head earlier. And I was thinking, okay, let's have a look at all of the things that need to be ticked off, regarding Mikel Arteta. Pre-season, tick. Back financially, got to be a tick. That's what he's had since he's been with us now. It's around about 200 million that has been invested, that he's spent. So there can't be any arguments there. He's managed to get some of our younger players to commit longer to the club. The last tick that remains is to see now if, with all of these pieces that he's got, can he, over a run of games, are they able to turn the results around? Do I believe that he's going to turn it around? No, but I need to see that last box. And as I've said on here before, and I think Glenn also picked up on this time frame as well, we're looking at around about the 30th of around October with the games that are left. Unless there's a disaster, don't get me wrong, something can happen to make you think you ain't going to get to that date, but all being well, I'm not saying that we can lose every game and in that last game on the 30th, if we win it, I can go, well, no. There has to be a sequence. There has to be a run of games. There has to be something that I can see. But it's going to be interesting because, like Ryan said earlier about, I can't remember his name, the right back that we brought in. How do you say his name?
Takahiro Tomiyashi.
Oh, yeah.
Tomiyasu. Oh, stop
As
saying
Tomiyasu. As Sophie said earlier, I thought I was going to call him Double T. But the best way for me how I describe him coming in is that somebody tweeted earlier. They said, I've always loved Double T, especially after I Googled him 15 minutes ago, because I don't know anything about him. And the majority of the players that we've signed, I don't know anything really about them. I don't really know much about Sambi Lokonga. I didn't know anything about Tavares. So it's going to be interesting. Ben White as well. And Ramsdale. A lot of these players, I don't really have much of an opinion on them. So I need to be able to see whether the money's been spent correctly. And I'm looking forward to seeing whether that's the case. And it's got to be a number of games to see how they gel. I mean, my biggest concern about the transfer window is that we're now left with a number and a group of players who's quite obvious they're not really in Mikel Arteta's plans. Even a player like Aubameyang. On the one hand, he's in interviews saying that, he wants to put his arm around him and that he believes in him and, but then on the other hand, it sounds like he's being offered to anybody that will listen, which doesn't bode for security if you're on the player side of it. My worry is that we've got so many players that we haven't been able to move on, that obviously their contracts are going to be running out in a year. Eddie Nketiah, another one. Lacazette, another one. El Neni. My worry is that if we get to the middle of the season and we're having problems, that those players will think to themselves, well, fuck it, I'm out of here anyway in 6 months. So, and then that affects us even more. They're not playing to their best. They're not into the cause. We fall even further down the table and they end up walking away. And we've got a couple of pieces. That's my biggest concern about moving forward with so many players that obviously are not part of the plans, whether they don't want to be here or whether Mikel Arteta doesn't want them to be here.
Yeah, so I agree with almost everything Stan said. So just let me add a couple of things. When Arteta took over, I said it's his house. Let him, furnish it how he wants. His house is furnished. It's all done. He's got till October 30th. That's his first set of games for me. When Arsenal fans stop talking about transfers and look at this manager, many of them are going to see he's making his own choices here. He decided to keep Xhaka. He decided to let Torreira go. The team is in his image now.
Yeah.
and it's that's I just got to say I agree with Stan. October 30th is a good point to step back and look and see what the f is going on. That's as positive as I can be.
Fair enough. Rowan.
Glenn. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
Nah, the one thing I was going to say was, Glenn, I told you this weeks ago when we extended Jaka, we're not signing a war. We're not signing a midfielder. And here you are. I had a dream we were going to sign a war and Odegaard. Glenn,
it was half right.
We got yeah, but I had that dream. What's going to happen? And I'm going to be pleasantly surprised when I come on Tuesday with the boys and we're going to have signed Elwar and Odegaard. It's going to be great. And then here we are. Flash forward 2 weeks later. Glenn is just, what the fuck? Why didn't we sign anybody? It's like,
I'm glad. I love it. Now I have two people in my life that you're very similar to my wife who'll pull out something. You remember 19 years ago on our honeymoon when you called me a bitch? No. So now you're gonna pull this shit.
That's like some honeymoon.
It's a role play thing, Stan. It's weird. Don't ask.
It was just a stupid example. She thought, but
started off on the right foot. I see.
Yeah, right.
I got everything I deserve. Believe me. But Ryan, seriously, Ryan. Yes. How many times you want me to say you were right for crying out loud?
I did. You said it. I think you said it. I counted 3 times on the show earlier today, I loved every minute of it.
Okay.
I still think the best one was a few days ago when I just all of a sudden woke up to a DM message from Glenn tearing strips off of me about Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and then I'm like at the very end I'm just like, hi Glenn, I think you got me confused with Ryan. And I just put my phone down and just went back to sleep. It wasn't even me. What are you saying that?
I spent all afternoon saying, Stan, you see?
I wasn't hear you talking about it on the pod anymore about that because he didn't, and I'm like, I didn't say anything.
All right.
I didn't even do it.
I know, all right? Relax.
I'm just more concerned how you confuse me and Ryan. That's
no. He twists my brain in pretzels every show.
Let me bring Rowan in here and get Rowan's thoughts on the transfer window overall.
Clearly, Glenn's marriage management skills is after Arteta's man management skills.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's how he's. But you know what? I think now that the transfer window is done, right? And Arteta isn't going anywhere. So we have to, with these 2 facts in place, I'm going to try to be as positive and think about the future, the near future, and the distant future in that light, right? I think when I've written it down after the window has closed, I've looked at the positions that we've had. I think we have improved. We've signed some players, who affect the first team now. With Ben White at centre back, Ben White and Gabriel should be a good pair. With Ramsdale, because Leno's form has fallen off a cliff and he's just too slow, like in his build-up play. So Ramsdale can be better. Right back was an issue, and our double T can take care of that, and he can also slot into centre back when Tierney is going ahead. So that's good. And Odegaard, these are the main first team signings, and then we've made Lokonga and Tavares, who are youngsters, and probably Tavares is a backup, right? So keeping this in mind, I think it's an okay window, but what's clouded everyone's judgment is the ability of the manager itself, right? Yeah. And that's what has clouded it. If we had a top-class manager and he had made these signings, we would be much more positive with this because we know where it's going. Here, I'm not sure that most Arsenal fans know where it's going, including me, right? So that's where it lies. So the perception of the transfer window and the transfers are actually, dictated by what you feel about the manager. And that's where we are at. But he's not going. Like I said, that these are the 2 main things about it. He's not going. So now he's got his team. We've got a decentish lineup. I would dare to say that we, with a good manager, with a Conte or someone, we could challenge for top 4. We just seem like we're really far off. But we read out the team: Tierney left back, Gabriel and Ben White, and now Double T. Then Partey, Lokonga if he plays, because nobody wants Xhaka. And then up front we've got like a wealth of talent and creative. If we can be creative, if we can be expressive, and Mikel Arteta can stop overcoaching these players, we can maybe be positive about the season. That's my thought.
Wow, I'm top 4. So you really believe in these youngsters, huh, Rohan?
I believe in these because I would think so, but I don't believe in the manager as much. That's the thing,
I think
it'll succeed despite Arteta, not because of him. That's
we're not that far apart. I think if Arteta manages okay, we can challenge for top 6, but top 4 to me is a little unrealistic. But I'm sorry, I'll shut up now.
No, yeah, sure. I agree with that. For us to be in top 4 or to challenge for top 4, we'd need other teams to drop points and for their form to drop off a cliff. But that's what's happened in the past few seasons. It almost seems like nobody wants to finish in the top 4, right? So that's what has happened. So it's driven by that. But if every team plays to their potential, then we are in 5th or 6th position. Okay. That's where we are.
Ryan, I know you had a brief say earlier, but what just overall thoughts on the window now that it's shut and business is done?
Yeah. Well, a quick little, after the Man City game, I was saying to myself, I don't know really what rock bottom really is. Everyone has their stories and all that. I was like, it can't get worse than this, right? I would think. And then we have the window. We make I thought a couple really clever moves. We got Tomiyasu in, who I'll be honest. And I said this on the show. I didn't know him. I knew of him because I'm actually repping Wataru Endo from Stuttgart right now. He plays for the Japanese national team. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's great. I think he'd be great for Arsenal, but he's a little older. I will never sign him. He's the captain of Stuttgart right now. Very good center midfielder, very aggressive, and he likes to put a foot in. But yeah, so he plays with Tomiyasu. So I've seen a couple of their games. Of course, every time I've seen him play, he plays as center back. So I didn't really gain too much. Although to be fair, I wasn't really paying too much attention to him. But yeah, I'm sure I'll sprinkle in some Tomiyasu love throughout the podcast. But yeah, so my beer of the week is All the Way Up by Mass Landing Brewing Company. It's a sour ale with tangerine, passion fruit, and lactose. I'm going to shit my brains out tonight. But yeah, all the way up. So hopefully we are going all the way up. So yeah, cheers. And yeah, so about the actual window itself, it sucks because I said it earlier. I really love what we did as far as incomings and even some of the outgoings. Thought we could have got maybe 1 or 2 more heads out the door, but we didn't. But my whole thing, which really, and everyone knows what it is, and which really, really bothers me to the core, is just the Xhaka pay raise. And I think giving him the armband the first week, you're really putting a statement out there as a club, or Arteta's really putting a statement out there. And yeah, obviously I would have signed a center midfielder, but I just, again, once we but that, to me, it's like the game of dominoes. I think re-signing, we didn't extend Xhaka. It was an option that we took, but we gave him a raise. So to me, that was the first domino that fell. And then once that fell, and like I said, but obviously there's people that did not want to believe me that we weren't going to sign another center midfielder. Yeah, and that was the next domino to fall, because then that to me was like, okay, we're not getting something that we truly need. Arteta doesn't see us needing a center defensive midfielder, which is very frightening, because I'm not saying every team needs one, but I think having a brick shithouse in the middle of the field that is like in front of your defense, I think is always a scary positive thing. And we need it because we're a soft team. And I think that's like the whole reason why I was always, to bat for, Basuma and stuff like that. I think I don't think Basuma's a brick shit house, but he'll get his foot in and he's not afraid. But to Tomiyasu, he's 6'2". He's very fast. So I'm excited. I think he will put in some tackles. He's very good defensively, which is what we need as a right back because we like to push our left back up. So he kind of helps create a lot of balance. And the stat that I love the most about him is he plays 67% possession with his dominant right foot. And if we go through our Arsenal timeline, who do we think is probably the best two-footed player that came through our doors? I would probably say Santi Cazorla. That's probably my vote. He's 68% with his dominant foot. So I got a little chub from that. I know it's just probably a useless stat to some of you guys, but I think that's really cool. I'm excited that he's two-footed and he's great defensively. So yeah, I'm pumped. But the last thing I'm going to say, my little metaphor, and it's kind of alludes to what you guys are saying about mowing the house, no lawns on fire. After the transfer window shut, I believe we landscaped the house while the house was on fire. We made it really pretty. We did a little more than a mow job, but the house is on fire. Luckily, the house, the fire is contained to one room. The question is, are we going to let Arteta stay? And is the fire going to spread? I don't know, because the fire right now is in the center midfield position with a Granit Xhaka. Is it going to spread? I think we're going to really see with Arteta and see if he could, really push forward with the team and get us some points, because it's going to be vital. Because if he can't do anything, this house is going to burn down.
We've gone from one of those like push mowers to one of those big ass ones that you can actually sit on and drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just real quick, for what it's worth, my thoughts on the transfer window are it doesn't matter.
We know.
No, I don't know. I want him to expound on that point.
It doesn't. The players that
I don't even know if that's a word.
I know what you're talking about.
I know.
The players that are brought in are not going to make a difference with this manager. His system is his system. It is not working. The players that were brought in simply are not talented enough to lift up the other players in the squad and get them playing his system better. It's just not going to happen. And if anyone thinks that Thomas Partey is going to, I'm sorry, I'm doom and gloom here, but this, we can, something I wanted to ask earlier today. And Glenn, I'm going to start with you. I'll get to the question in a minute. We should beat Norwich. All right. This team should beat Norwich. Mm-hmm. Should beat Burnley, but we know that Turf Moor is a house of horrors for us. I said horrors, not house of horrors. Difference. All right.
My bachelor party is coming up, Tanner. So
what's that?
I said my bachelor party is coming up. So.
Yes.
Thank you.
You've obviously never been to a knocking shop in Burnley, but that's another story.
But anyway, we know what Turf Moor is for us, and then it's a North London derby, and we know what can happen there. And look, they're a better team than us right now. They're a better team than us. They're a better side, and that addition of Emerson Royale from Barcelona, that's a pretty good signing for them. So, beat Norwich. Maybe draw Burnley. I think that would be a fair result to draw Burnley. How sad is that? To say that that's a fair result, that if we drew at Burnley, probably lose the North London derby at home. So in our first 6 matches, we'll have 4 points if we're lucky, and a goal differential of God knows what. Now, here's my question for you, Glenn. So I'm giving us 1 win out of the next 3. But if that win is, let's say, a 1-0 or a 2-1 victory, does that matter?
No, a win in any way, shape, or form matters. But yeah, what you're saying is not crazy, because this team is not much better than last year. So we could win, lose, or draw to anybody at any time. That's particularly why I like the stand thing of waiting till October 30th. See if it's the same old thing where, we'll draw with Norwich, we'll we'll get beat by Burnley and then lose to Spurs. Who knows? Let's see if we can put together a run of games. Let's see if Arteta's going to properly manage the players. If someone's in form like he did to Pepe last year and then sits them the next game, I'm going to be screaming. But I'm willing to give him till October 30th because I don't believe he's going anywhere. And like I said, for people that don't know this, I would have fired him after the Villarreal game. Sacked him.
Keep going, guys. Take that and run with it for me for a minute.
All right, Rohan, what is your answer to Tanner's question? I don't even know what the fuck it was, but yeah.
It's what the games: Norwich, Burnley, Tottenham. What are you expecting?
You know what? Like I tried to be positive, but now I'm just gonna shit over everything again. Like that's the mode that I have come into. Like the first thing that I saw actually when I logged in was Lone Star Londoner. He was like, positively please, and then he said I had a chicken korma, so I was like, yeah, positive. I have to be for him. But then now when I think of it, like first I named what all upgrades that he's made in the team, and he has made some upgrades, but two of them, or at least like one of them, which is Aaron Ramsdale, is he going to play him or not? Is he a backup keeper? For now. That's one. Second is, for me, the joy of watching Arsenal has gone because we are not creative, right? We've been bad defensively since I've, sort of started watching, right? Like, except for the Invincible season. After that, we've been shambolic defensively. That's kind of what I know. Right, and that's why we don't win league titles, and that's fine. But what have we upgraded? We've spent 134 million on first team players, right? The 4 players: Ben White, Ramsdale, Double T, and Odegaard. We paid 134 million for that, and out of that, 100 million has gone into defense, right? Only 34 million has gone into Odegaard, which is an offensive player. So our offense is kind of the same since last season. And for me, the problem was that we weren't creative enough. So by upgrading the defense, have we improved the team? I don't know. And that's the problem, right? Like the manager is the problem. And I think by giving him these run-up fixtures, which we might win just on the quality of our team, which is we might win against Norwich because we're better than Norwich, or we should be. We might beat Burnley or draw against them. I don't know what we're going to do there. And Spurs, North London derby, maybe we can get something there. I don't know, right? But we are giving him this international break and then all the leverage. That October 30th date that you said, which is supposed to be the green patch of our fixtures. I mean, we're giving him a lifeline. We're throwing him a lifeline right now, and he's going to continue doing that. So I'm not really sure how he's going to improve the team.
But Rohan, don't you think it's unreasonable to expect them to sack Arteta now when after you brilliantly explained how we spent the money? That money's also an investment in Arteta. You really think they're going to sack him now?
No, they will not. I agree. So they will not sack him. That was one of the first things.
So let me ask Stan. If it does the style of win matter to you? I mean, we need a win. Does the style of win matter?
Not as much as the manner of a loss. A win is a win, right? Mm-hmm. If it means that it's got to be be a deflection off of Aubameyang's arse cheek, and it goes in the back of the net, I'll take it. But I think that if you can find the answer as to why there was a difference between the way that we played at West Bromwich Albion and the way that we played at, say, Manchester City or even Brentford or Chelsea, you'll find the answer. And I know that, again, West Bromwich Albion aren't from the same league as us, and that they did put out a lot of their younger players, but we still played a game of football, and it was coherent. There was structure to what was going on. People were on the same wavelength. And I don't understand how you can go from that to playing in total disarray. and not even doing the basics. And if you can find the answer as to how they're able to switch that on and off, then that will be the answer to the problem. And I don't know whether that's that the team really bought into this, where everyone's going, well, we don't expect anything at the beginning of the season. We don't expect anything from those games.
That's a great question by Mike. BG, you should let us answer that.
I want you guys to answer this. I want all of us to answer this question. And Ryan, I'll start with you. A lot of fans ask.
You didn't answer the first question. I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Oh my god, I can't bust balls. Jeez. Well, I'll answer
Yes.
your question really quick. If we beat Norwich 1-0 the same way we beat Chelsea 1-0, that where the goalie essentially passed us the ball, or the defender passed us, whatever the Rohan knows what I'm talking about. He always brings it up, and that's how I remember it. If we win like that, I think that's a different. But other than that, win's a win, baby. Just win, baby. But yeah, it's I don't think we're gonna succeed. And I will spin your negativity, Tanner, to a positive. If you think it's a coach so much, if you think that this, it doesn't matter, fine, then you have every right to believe that. But my positive spin on it would be, okay, and I would never root for us to lose. And I'm not saying I'm rooting for us to lose, but if what you're saying is right, and it doesn't matter, well, guess what? The truth's going to come out. We're not going to play well. We're going to do the same old Arsenal. See what I did there? And he's going to get sacked. It's simple as that. So like you could say that, and I don't disagree with you. I think to an extent, I think to an extent, you're right. But fine, if you're right, cool, awesome. He's not going to be here, and then that's totally cool. But yeah, I don't unless it's that Chelsea 1-0. I don't really see. We at this point we just need to put the ball in the back of the net, and we just need points.
So let's take Mike's question. A lot of fans ask when will he get sacked? My question is, what does he have to do to get us back on his side again? So Ryan, you're Arteta out right now. What does he have to do to get you back on his side?
I hate saying that word, Arteta out, because there's people that are Arteta out on social media that like really bother the shit out of me. So I like to classify myself as, I don't know what gender people are these days. I don't know, but my point is
We're getting canceled.
No, but like I don't think he's the manager for us. I don't want him here, but I don't want to say I'm Arteta out, but I am, I guess. But my point is I don't. What's the next song? Low Rider. Yeah, damn right, Stan. But I think that it's just a game by game thing. I can't give an exact amount of points, an exact amount of what we could do. I think it's how we play, how the players respond, how the team works together. Because I know you don't agree with this, Tanner, and Glenn talks about our excuse of having an injured squad and not being full strength. Well, we're probably going to have pretty damn close to a full strength when this international break is done for. So there's going to be no hiding, no excuses. And for me, I take everything game by game. I try to analyze and dissect everything game by game, taking my hatred out. Sorry, Jaka. With the manager and the players, and I try to assess everything as it goes. So I think it really depends on just the way we're playing, how the how we're playing, how we're responding to the tactics. Because I guess out of all of us, I'm more excited about the transfer window because I think it greatly. I don't want to say I'm excited because it improves Arteta's chances, but like based on what we play and how we play tactically, this is the best we're gonna get. Bar, signing a world-class player, which who the fuck is gonna come in that's world-class, back-to-back 8th places, no European football. Like, let's just get real here. So this is put up or shut up time for Arteta.
Stan, what does he have to do to get you back on his side?
Well, I'm not exclusively Arteta out. Obviously I've got a loss of belief, but to get me back on side, I need to see progression. I need to see a happy team on the pitch. Even if we are losing games, I want to see everybody giving their all, and we're trying. We're not just throwing the towel in when we think, oh, we're not going to win this one, we'll try again next week. Let's forget the next 55 minutes of this game. No, keep battling to the end. But if you look at those fixtures, to our next fixtures, because we've got the international break. I mean, you look at the opposition that we've got. That takes us to October the 30th, right? We come back on the 11th of September with Norwich at home, and then it's Burnley away, and then we've got a Carabao Cup game against AFC Wimbledon. Then there's the North London derby at home, and then we're away at Brighton, and then on the 18th of October we're at home to Crystal Palace, at home to Aston Villa, and then we're away at Leicester. Now, if you look at all of those teams, we should be able to get something out of that. Norwich, Burnley, Tottenham, AFC Wimbledon, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Leicester City. Surely we should be able to hold our own with a number of those teams. So to have me on side, we need to be coming onto the 30th on a run. And that doesn't mean that we have to have won every single game. That there can be draws in there where we've maybe come back and, but we've worked hard. So there's nothing in there that shouldn't really be a problem for us. Even the North London derby, we should be extra up for that. Now, Double T, who's coming to the team, you should be talking to him now and showing him the history, getting him to understand about who they are across the road. Now, getting him part of the history and the fabric of Arsenal. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but how many points? There's 8 games there to the 30th. 7 of them are league games. One's a Carabao Cup game. How many points should we be able to take from that?
How many games? 7? How many league games, Stan?
I have a question. Are we counting the Watford game? Because they play Watford November 6th, and then it's the international break. Are we counting? Because it's October 30th, we have Leicester. The 6th, we have Watford.
Well, our first game
we don't play
September 11th. I'm going from September 11th to October 30th.
No, I know, but we're saying until
Watford is November 6th.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying is we're talking about him until the next break. The next break is actually after Watford because we play Watford the following week. Yeah, we play Watford the following week, November 6th. And then we don't play until the 20th. So we have 2 weeks off. So, I mean, I don't really care. I personally, I agree with you, Stan. I think we should wait till the 30th. And then if we don't like what he's doing, sack him, get the new manager in, give him like I'm not saying Watford's easy, but it's going to be easier. Give him Watford. Hopefully there's a new manager bounce. And then, okay, cool. Now you have 2 weeks. Like, relax 2 weeks, and then we have Liverpool. So, yeah.
Because there is nothing in there, really, that we should be worried about. Really. Do you know what I mean? There's no Man Uniteds in there, Liverpools or Cities or anyone that we should be like, we're going to get our tries. We should be able to play competent games of football with everybody that's been mentioned there, I believe.
Yeah. What would it take to get me back?
We should be able to be competitive with those teams, right? Competitive.
Yeah.
What would it take to get me back on Arteta's side? It's not that. It's what would it take for me to have some confidence in him, because my confidence with him is 0 right now. So look at the situation. 3 games, 3 losses, international break. Everybody comes back healthy. That run of games show me progress, like Stan said. And progress means beating teams that we should beat, okay? By October 30th, I want more wins than losses, and that restores some confidence for me in Arteta. And just another thing to Insurance Basket's quote about backing Arteta. We all back Arteta. We all want to say, dude, you were amazing. I was wrong. But we don't feel like that right now. It's like the amazing April. All signs point to yes, that he sucks.
But Glenn, see, that's where I feel like, I don't want to say you're wrong, but if you look at social media, people don't like that. People call Arteta a disgusting, vile human being on social media.
Yeah, but you can't regulate.
That's my point. That's why, I don't want to ever say I'm Arteta out. I don't, because I feel like that group of people, and I'm not saying everybody.
That doesn't attach you to them. That doesn't attach you to them.
It doesn't. But I just, in my opinion, I've always been very analytical of him and constantly dissecting his matches. I think we could do better with him. But I'm not going to be marching up and down Capitol building, screaming for his head. I'm not, but I guess my point is I just feel that people take things way too far. Where if you're not with us, you're against us. Well, it's like it's not like that. We all support Arsenal.
The question is
to be better.
The question is between loyalty and blind loyalty. Nobody here on this panel is going to shut up if they see something wrong. And it's not wrong to point out stuff that you think.
Exactly. But to attack his character is
but none of us are doing that, right? That's not even part of the conversation. Right. I don't think any five of us. I have criticized Arteta a lot on Twitter, but I have never at Arteta. I've never. No. I never do that. I never talk about his family or anything personally that he has done. It's all based on the performance that I see, and I've shown no confidence in him for the whole week, 7 days. But then when we wake up for the game, like for Man City, I went to bed at like 4 a.m. I got up at 7 to watch that game, and the whole time I was praying that we're going to win that game, right? Like, I mean, in 5 minutes, I knew that we weren't going to win that game. Yeah. But for those 5 minutes, I was really like backing Arteta, trust me. So what does it take to get me on side, right? First is beggars can't be choosers. You've got to win a match, right? We're dead last. No goal scored. Like, okay, the first thing is score a goal. Second is win the game, right? Third is like, however you win the game, initially it's fine, but at some point I want more excitement of watching that game, which is why, even though, Wenger's style of play was predictable in the sense that we'll get absolutely bullied by big teams who are going to play us on the counter and absolutely, demolish us. But I used to enjoy watching that. You know what, like, we won that 1-0. That 1-0 is a win against Chelsea. And there was that game against Manchester United in which David De Gea saved like 300 shots, right? I would, in reality, I would take us playing like how we played against Manchester United, because 10 times, if we played both games 10 times, we would have probably won the Manchester United game like 8 times, but we would have lost the Chelsea game 8 times, right? So the style of play matters. And once you have that, then you enjoy the game. So first he's got to score a goal, win, get a tune out of this team, make it seem like a team, make me enjoy that game. At the end of 90 minutes, even if we've lost or drawn, I want to say that this is my team and I'm proud of it because they've given everything there. That's what is lacking now. I don't feel like this is the Arsenal that I have supported. I don't identify with it in terms of the management, in terms of in terms of how it is in social media, in terms of how they are on the pitch. It's just very distant from what I have supported. So I want that.
I agree.
So to answer Mike's question, you want to get me back on his side. I'm kind of with Rohan on the style thing. Number one, it has to be an attacking style. It has to be a style that lends itself to scoring goals, because the fact is, if all you do is dribble the ball around and pass the ball around, but you're never really threatening to score, you're begging for a draw. And that doesn't get you anywhere. You're spinning your tires. So
I'm not saying you said this, Tanner, but would you be happy if we, like, let's say we did go on a run and we won a few games, but they were all just 1-0 games. Very boring. We find a way to score and we close the game out. And we're not really attacking, but like I said, we find a way to score and we just like very tidy football. It's probably boring. It's probably gonna be boring football, but tidy football.
I mean, if we're going for it at the beginning and we get if we're going for it until we get the goal. Now, if we score a goal 12 minutes into the game and then we just sit back and park the bus, then no, he's afraid to lose and he gets lucky if he doesn't.
Right.
To me. And I'm not okay, and I'm not okay with that. Because you have to, you want to be successful, you have to score. the name of the game is scoring. The name of the game is not passing. It's not dribbling. It's not playing defense. It's scoring. That's what you have to do. It's our job to score. It's the other team's job to stop us. It's not our job to stop ourselves. And that's what we've been doing. So to answer your question, if we go on a run where we're winning games 1-0,
and maybe even a few ties of 0-0.
I mean, it really, when you look at the when you look at the run of fixtures that Stan just said, and I'm going to bring them back up here real quick. Norwich, Burnley. I'm going to take Wimbledon. That's a Carabao Cup. I'm going to take that out. We should win that game with some squad rotation, quite frankly. Spurs, North London Derby, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa. Oh, by the way, the 4th round of the Carabao Cup is Wednesday, October 27th. So we should be playing that one. Leicester City away and then Watford at home. That's all before the next international break. That's 7, if I counted them correctly. No, so I'm sorry. That's 8 league matches before the next international break.
Yeah, including Watford.
How many points?
Probably
points? Okay, I
18 to 20 out of a possible 24.
I'd say I want 19. 19 is 1 loss and 1 draw. That's what he has from me. 19 because it's not 19 out of 24. It's not 8 games because we've already played 3 games. So we are talking about 33 points. 19 out of 33. Let's say 18. 18 is the bare minimum. Like, he loses 2 games from now to then, and it's done.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Well, is it not the manner of the loss though, Rohan? It's not just the fact that he loses.
Unlucky, like that Manchester United game that we had played, or we played many a times very valiantly. Arsenal is known for valiant failures, right? Like the always the second leg of Champions League where we played against AC Milan, where we played against Monaco, where we played against like number of teams, and we've really shown up, but it's just not been good enough. If that's the way, then probably there's more argument to be had, but that'll be like flicking a switch right now at this moment. So I'm not like even going there.
I mean, back to Ryan's point real quick with this run of 1-0 wins. The only thing I'll say to that is, it looks good. Yeah, it's 3 points, but it's not sustainable. If you're winning games 1-0 and you're consistently winning games 1-0, what's that?
It's something to build upon because at the minute we ain't scoring any. So at least we've moved up a little bit. Hopefully,
it is right now, Stan. But if we get into October and it's still like these 1-0 games, I mean, it's enough to save his job. It'll be enough to save his job because we honestly need to rattle off 6 straight here. I mean,
I think that's my point. Is like I don't think it matters in the matter of the win. We could do 6 in a row Chelsea 1-0s, and you.
But to me that's not sustainable. Because you're not winning games based on what you've created.
Do you not believe then that
you're going to see? I think the Chronicles won't care though. He's going to stay.
Do you not believe then that you're not going to see any more performances like the one that we did do against the West Bromwich Albion? You don't think that you're going to see anything like that?
Maybe against Wimbledon.
That. And the reason why your question that you've asked now, and like just reflected on that, the manner of the loss, there shouldn't be those sort of losses in these 8 games that we've counted, right? Like we're playing Norwich, Burnley, Crystal Palace, teams like that. We're playing Tottenham, yes, but it's a North London derby. We're playing Leicester, who got beaten 4-1 by West Ham. Aston Villa, who've lost Jack Grealish. Should we really be losing that badly? I mean, if Aston Villa game is anything like the 2 games that we played against Aston Villa last year, man, we're in big trouble.
Is there not an argument as well? And again, I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit. Is there not?
I like it.
If we come back from the international break and we're leading up into these games that lead up to this October 30th, which is what we're kind of talking about. And actually, Ryan makes a good point. You was away, Glenn. The next match after the 30th, Glenn, is Watford on November the 6th, and then there's an international break.
It doesn't matter.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so what do you do if it's all shit up until the 30th? Do you boot him and then get a new guy in to have his first game in November, and then he has the 2 weeks? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So,
know.
yeah, it's around about that thing, but I went off my thought now. What I was actually going to say. Remind me what you said again there, Rohan, about the.
No, the manner of the loss cannot be
Yeah.
I just worry about, in the sake of being loyal to the club, how much mediocrity we are accepting. I really believe, and throw that Watford game in there, that we should have more wins than losses by that date. And and then I'll give Arteta a little more rope. But all signs point to yes as far as him screwing everything up.
I mean, the manner of the win has to matter too.
Yeah.
And again, it's. I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's if you're winning games 1-0, it's like, yeah, okay, we get a win. Okay, now we need to back it up, but we need to play better the next time out than we just did. Unless we go out and we absolutely throttle Norwich 5-0. If we do to Norwich what City did to us, okay, then let's feel pretty good, because that's something. Then we go into the following week against Burnley and say, okay, they might want to beat us up a little bit, but we've got some confidence here now. Okay, we know we can do this against a Premier League team, not a Championship team's U18 side. So. It's we talk about stacking wins, okay, but we also have to stack better performances on top of one another.
I completely
go ahead, Glenn.
I completely understand and agree with that, but the only difference is I don't believe we're in a position right now where we're gonna be like, oh well, we got 3 points, but the ball went in off of Aubameyang's ass. Yeah, who cares? We just need the points. And I am so with Rohan with how it used to be fun to watch Arsenal win, lose, or draw, because it was like watching an artist painting a beautiful picture. It's now more than often it's just disgusting to watch Arsenal and disheartening. I don't accept that anymore. I mean, think about it, guys. Not even that long ago, even if we lost the game, sure, we'd be pissed off, but at least there was something to watch, something to, oh, that was beautiful. Oh, there's none of that anymore. No, there's hardly any of that.
I think the crappy point is, and we talk about the manner of the win, the manner of the loss, and all that. The management, Cronkies, they don't care. We could win 1-0 and 0-0, like just go on like a streak of not losing, maybe not even really conceding, and having those 1-0 Chelsea games where we could play off the park, but the goalie felt bad and kicked it off Aubameyang. The goalie kicked it off Aubameyang's ass. How about that? Trying to clear the ball. And I think that's the bigger issue here is the owners, and I don't really want to get into a whole Cronky out and protest here on the podcast, but yeah, I think that's an issue that needs to kind of be brought up too, in just the fact that I don't expect us to beat Norwich 5-0, and what evidence is there to have of that, And Stan brought up a good point talking about the West Brom game. Actually, I'll be negative a little bit here. I know I said it really was going to be too negative, but yeah, we beat them 6-0. I get that, and taking the opposition completely out of the picture in that fact that it was the U18 team, but they were putting on us really good in the first 15 minutes. They should have scored 1 or 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. I was nervous watching the first, I would say, probably 15, 20 minutes of the game. And then Saka had a little bit of individual brilliance. Ball bounced his way. Aubameyang made he made a really good run to the back post, and he beat the defender, and it was a tap in, and that was it. Once that happened, we were like, oh yeah, we got to go. We can't lose this team. We're like, and all of a sudden it was just like we weren't afraid to lose. We weren't afraid that we were even going to be in that conversation, and we just played loose. We played loosey goosey. We kind of flashed a little bit. Almost, to be fair, and this is the one credit I'll give to Wenger. We kind of played as if we were playing under Wenger, and where we kind of were expressing ourselves a little bit. And next thing you know, we come out 6-0, and I take it with a pinch of salt because, like I said, I think we were getting bullied. They were putting it on us. I think like the first 5 minutes they should have scored, but it's a game. It's a game that's very close.
I remember I was going to ask now.
Just picture how quickly things can change, guys. This is like one of the little threads I hang on to when Arsenal gets me depressed. Think of how quickly things can change in 4 weeks from today. We beat Norwich, we beat Burnley. Up next, we could go 3-3 by beating Spurs. And how excited will everybody be? I'm pretty sure you guys won't be moaning if we beat Norwich and Burnley and we're going into the Spurs game with a chance to really launch our season. That's one of the little threads I hold on to. I don't believe it, but I'm hoping that something like that happens. And that could happen in as little as 4 weeks.
Stan, what were you going to ask?
I remember what I was going to say now. It's come back to me. It always happens to me. So this little sequence of games that we're saying, right? We're gonna go for an international break. When we come back and that game is against Norwich, is it fair to say that everybody's back and fit? Is Thomas Partey fit? I know Gabriel Megalegs should be fit because he's playing under 23s. So everybody should be available. Now, with everybody available, that game against Norwich, Mikel Arteta has no excuses but to pick his belief of his best starting 11, right? And it's not like he's got to outthink himself. It's not like that first game is going to be like against the Chelsea, a Man United, or a Liverpool, where he may have to, do a little bit of jiggery pokery. It's against Norwich. He should be able to play his first choice 11 in the formation that he believes that he wants to play. So a lot of these, if you look at the first 11 that he's probably going to pick, there's going to be some new faces in there. Is there any argument? This is why I keep thinking about October the 30th, because I want to make sure that we leave we don't miss anything when we come to put our judgment down. Is there any argument that these players are going to, because there's so many new faces, there's got to be a period of gelling. You know what I'm saying? Gabriel's not played at centre back with Ben White. Ben White's new to the club. He's still kind of settling. Our back four is going to consist of basically 3 new faces, a right back that we've just brought in as well. He's got to get to know the team. If he goes with a goalkeeper, that's another new face in the defensive area that he's got to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not making excuses. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Is there an excuse that, I'm not saying that they have to settle, because a lot of these players aren't coming from a million miles away, but there has to be a gelling period, or does this international break that we've got this period of time, not all of them are going off on international duty, is that long enough to give a little bit of bedding in time? When do we, that's what I'm trying to say, October 30th is my kind of time, because I would think that by then, surely the players should have, they've not got European games, 1 game a week. There should be, a lot of training sessions. Do you guys think is an optimum time when we can say, well, they should have enough time to gel now. They've been together long enough.
You know my answer because I agree with you.
But I'm saying, is 30th too long? Is there an argument to say, well, they still might not have gelled by then because they're all coming from these different places? I just want to cover all my bases. No,
you would hope all this is done in training, right? I mean,
yeah,
I know it's not the same. I know it's not the same as the game speed and the gameplay. I get it; it's a different animal, but just as basic as getting to know each other and I don't know, maybe they're gonna hang out tomorrow.
Yeah. Kick I'm just laughing at the insurance baskets comment there. Well, that's a bit left field.
That was funny.
When you say gelling, sounded
gelling. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure that when I get to that date, no one can say to me that, you've not taken this into consideration, Stan. You've not thought about this. You've not thought about that. I think it's 20 months now, man. I actually believe that how many managers are managing in a Premier League club that started after Mikel Arteta, and you're watching them play football and you can see what's going on.
No, I get that, but I always go back to the argument of what the right manager can do, and all you have to do is look at Chelsea and what they did when Tuchel came in. The right manager can get the most out of his players, and like I said, I'm going to keep saying this. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think Arteta's that guy.
Yeah, I mean, we've got long periods to prepare, right? We've got this. We hardly have any international players anymore, so we've got this whole window, and the gelling part of it, like we've said, the problem is in the attack, and the attack is the same that was the attack last year, right? It's the same that he's had for almost, I'd say, the last 18 months is pretty consistent. So I really don't know where the gelling factor comes from. Yeah, defensively maybe we'll have a few more mix up. It shouldn't be as bad as the ones we've had in Brentford and in City, because those were just basic mistakes, right? Like, you can't have those sort of mistakes. But yeah, I could understand that there's some gelling period there, but our style of play shouldn't be affected massively because the attackers are the same, and he's got them for 18 months. So I don't know what switch we're waiting for him to flick or wishing for him to flick. I don't think that's going to be done, but maybe he thinks the basis of his team is from defense. He's left himself light, with defensive midfield of Partey, Xhaka, who's suspended anyway, Lokonga, and El Nani. These are our central midfielders. He got killed in that Man City game because he tried to be over smart and he played Odegaard and ESR, both of them. And he played only one defensive midfielder in that game, which was Xhaka, who's too slow.
He's not a defensive midfielder.
He's not even a defensive midfielder. So
Right.
these are weird decisions. So decision making needs to be consistent. It needs to be logical, and it needs to work out, right? At the end of it, which is none of this. He needs to have a plan B, but before he has a plan B, he needs to have a bloody plan A. Yeah.
I think what we should do is maybe like get a fundraiser going, a GoFundMe. We'll all chip in a little bit. Get the chat to chip in. We'll put it on Twitter, YouTube, the whole shebang bang, and maybe fund this team. A nice little dinner. Get them all talking. Maybe they'll do their preseason like singing. They all sing a song or something to initiate them into the team. I don't know, but I don't know. For me, I don't think this gelling thing really needs to be more than it really is. I think if you really want to be, I guess I don't think professionals do this. Maybe they do. I don't know because I'm not a professional athlete. But just one night, go to dinner, chit chat, hang out, like really, go rock climbing or some shit. Get some team building. Team bonding going.
Strip club.
Yeah, that's too. Both male and female. You never know. I mean, especially with the rumors around the club. I mean, you never know. So, I think there just needs to be. I should say I don't think that this gelling thing is really a thing. And I'll end with this because I'm going to sprinkle again. I said I was going to keep sprinkling my Tomiyasu facts. He speaks English and fairly well. So hopefully that's not an issue too either with communicating with the team because he does speak English. So that's good.
Well, I don't think they need to gel by all going to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever.
No, I know.
They need to.
Again, I was kidding.
Nah,
I don't know.
The gelling period, quote unquote, the gelling period. Just figure it out. This is not. We hear this all the time with this football club. We bring in a new player. Oh, he can't play right away. No, he's got to settle in. Or he's got to settle in.
I do think
I don't. You want to talk about building? Go ahead.
The one thing I'm going to say, I'm only thinking about settling into that regard is yes, I think Tomiyasu it's going to take a game or two for him to be like, oh shit, this isn't Serie A. These guys are faster and they're stronger. Like you're good. That's going to happen. Like I'm not saying no to that. Like we're switching leagues. I don't care what anyone says. We're the best league in the world. It really is the best league in the world. It has the fastest and most strongest players for the most part, and it's the quickest pace. That may take a second to be like, oh shit, what he might say that. What the fuck did I sign up for? Because he has said it in multiple interviews. His dream is to play in the Premier League. Well, you got your chance. So I get that, but I guess as far as like team chemistry, gelling with the team, yeah, I don't think there's anything into that. So,
Yeah, I mean, figure it out. Get in there and just hit the ground running and let's go.
Well, the two things that give me hope about the Japanese kid, and I'm sorry to keep saying Japanese kid because I keep forgetting his name. I'll have it down by tomorrow. The two things that I like that I hear about him is he's good on defense and he's a good passer. He's not going to be, scooting down the wing, faking out players and crossing it. So we're going to be a little bit better coming out of the back, the way Arteta likes to play. So let's see what happens. I can't wait to see this kid. But in the meantime, since it takes Arsenal forever to put new players in, I'd like to see Maitland-Niles play right back.
I mean, at this point, what's that, Stan?
We just bought a right back for 19 million.
Well, what Glenn is saying is if he's not going to play right away, play Maitland-Niles.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, here's the deal. Let me ask you this question. If we're talking about Tomiyasu settling in, what on earth are we going to gain by allowing him to settle in that would be a loss if we didn't? The question is, how does it get worse? We're already losing and haven't scored a goal. It doesn't get any worse than this. Fucking play the kid. Play him.
Yeah, but does it matter if we win the game? Because apparently we're being sold. If you remember, if you listen to the narrative from the club, we're being sold this thing for the future. They're not selling us wins today. You see how they word it? They're like, it's all going in subliminally. We're being geared up for future wins. That means if we lose today, don't get the fucking hump. They're not promising you wins today.
Well,
my only worry about this future thing is two things. One is Mikel Arteta building a team then that he's not going to be managing in a couple of years because they are going to pull the trigger. But if they are building for the future and they're going to allow Arteta all of this time, what if the road is bumpy and these young players get to a stage where they decide, well, you know what? I don't want to renew my contract. I'm done now. Yeah. I don't want to be here for that next bit because this first bit was fucking shit. There's no European tournaments again. We're not even in the fucking European Confederates Cup, whatever that fucking lower tier, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, no, I'm not going to renew. So there's no guarantees. So I'm a little bit worried about this being sold for the future. Because in the future, we might be in the championship.
We were much better off when players left us at that point, right? Like Theo Walcott and etc. held us at gunpoint and he wanted to play striker. Remember, there's Oxlade-Chamberlain who's left us. Like, what is Oxlade-Chamberlain, right? And why is an ESR or a Saka our next superstars? They want to stay and give up when they're like 22, 23, 24, just in the feeling that maybe these guys will come good, etc. When a City come knocking, when a United come knocking, etc., they're going to leave, and we can't blame them. And then we'll vilify them because then we'll be like, oh, why did you leave? They leave because they have a very short career, right? I mean, just look at the attack that we've got. Lacazette, Pepe, Balogun, Aubameyang, Odegaard, ESR, Saka, Martinelli. We should be scoring goals for fun, guys. That's like this. You don't even need to coach these guys, right? Like that's what Wenger did, right? Like I saw an interview with Thierry Henry talking about Pep Guardiola, right? He said that Pep Guardiola says that my job is to get you till the box and then you need to do the magic, right? That's what Pep Guardiola says. There needs to be a system, but then these players are talented. They've played the game. They know what to do. They've played with each other. They know what their strengths are. Don't stop trying to coach something into them that they don't know. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has enough sense to say that Ronaldo, he's a striker for me, correct? But even if he plays out wide, I want him in the box because he's going to score. That same thing applies to Pepe. You know, Pepe is no Ronaldo, but he's a goal scorer. Unfortunately, in this team, like Odegaard, ESR, Saka, maybe they aren't natural goal scorers. But I do believe that Pepe is a natural goal scorer. But we don't get him in the box enough. We don't make him enough dangerous enough. Aubameyang, how is he not scoring? All of this is down to the manager, and he's. I really doubt that he's a good manager because his management skills suck.
Yeah.
But maybe he can be a good coach and coach them into something, but not overcoach them. That's sort of what
The one positive I will say from all this, and I agree with what all you guys are saying, is, kind of going to what Insurance Basket said. In 3 years, the players are going to leave. And I will be absolutely. I'm going to say this right now. You can quote me on it, timestamp it. In 3 years' time, Arteta and the Kroenkes will both not be here. I mean, I'll even do into this. It's just not. I think we're building for the future, and I don't think Arteta's going to be a part of it.
I really hope so, Ryan.
Arteta and the Kroenkes will not be here. At least one won't be here. I can't speak for both, but
the funny thing is, though, Adi will probably still be here because he's a fucking survivor. He's going to outlive all of us, mate. He's like one of them cockroaches that you can put in a fucking tobacco tin, let off a nuclear bomb, open up a tobacco tin, and he's still in there going, "All right, how you doing?" He's going to survive all of us.
Now I want to watch Wally.
No, I haven't seen Wally. No spoilers alert, please.
Never seen Wally? Gotta watch Wally's a crazy
I know. I need to watch Wally, yeah.
Boy, if this is a 3-year thing and these players are gone in 3 years, that is the Glenn. That's the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's the Pittsburgh. We will have turned into the Pittsburgh Pirates, and at that point, I'm out. Like I won't do this anymore. I will not.
There's just no way. If we're that bad, we're not going to have Arteta and Kroenke still here. There's just
no. I know, but what I'm saying, I mean, But if that's
I will never
the Kroenkes, they're not going anywhere. They're not.
Yeah, especially if
both of them. I mean, if Arteta is still here, the Kroenkes won't be here. I mean, but that kind of doesn't really make sense. If we're this bad, if we keep playing this and they keep persisting with Arteta, something's gonna happen. You're not gonna keep firing a dude, bring someone else in. We're still shit. Bring someone else.
We get that oil money, baby.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, listen, I've always wanted a sugar daddy. I want to have a sugar daddy, man. Why not?
All right. Who wants the blood money and who doesn't?
I don't mind standing there and twerking at the foot of the bed.
I'm surprised.
I defend corporates during daytime, man. Like, what's stopping me from wanting blood money? Like, that's what
I'm shocked when you asked that
way
question.
To rationalize it.
I'm shocked when you asked that question. Rohan didn't rub something and just put blood right under his eyes like a football player. Yeah, I think listen, and you can't prove different because I've never seen Rohan take a bath. I think he bathes in blood. So yeah, take that.
There's a part of me because I saw that rumor too, Stan, about the oil guy that wanted to buy Arsenal, and I thought to myself, "Wow, I have some City friends, but I say it how I feel with City, where it's like, yeah, it's just they're owned by an oil country, and whatever, and they beat FFP." And I thought to myself, would I want that for Arsenal, where we just go out and buy anybody? And there's a part, it is the part of me that's like, no, I don't want to be like that. But things have been so bad, I can't say that I wouldn't change my mind instantly. You know what I'm saying?
Let's play FIFA with Arsenal. Why not? Why can't we play FIFA with Arsenal? It's like, I look at it this way. I know there's more to transfers, and I know people say, well, it's not FIFA, but I look at it this way. You've got a striker like Eddie Nketiah. It's obvious that he doesn't want to sign a contract. The club are thinking of moving him on. And then you hear, okay, they're looking at this guy from Celtic, right, Edouard. They've been looking at him for a while. And then you ask yourself the question, okay, if I could upgrade on Eddie Nketiah and it's going to cost me maybe about 4 million, and it means that they're going to get maybe more than 10 goals in the Premier League, which Eddie can't do, is it worth doing it? You'd say, well, yeah. Then all you do is you take the 10 million from Crystal Palace, you take it, you add the 4 million, you drive up to Scotland, and you come back with Edouard. I mean, do you know what I mean? Is it really that complicated? You might think that you might be thinking, Eddie's worth about 15, and they're only offering us 10. But you got to look at the bigger picture. You got to think to yourself, well, if I could pay 4 million and upgrade on this guy and it will get me X, that's how you think about it, right? So you take the 10 million, you just weigh out the 4. I mean, I know they say it's not FIFA, but sometimes it kind of is, right? I mean,
well, it is at Manchester United.
Deal.
It was a beautiful tweet, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Stan. It was a beautiful tweet that said it took Manchester United 3 hours to get Ronaldo. Look at Arsenal after 3 weeks. You know, it's very frustrating.
I said it earlier, right? I felt like Rip Van Winkle that night. I went to bed at night. I checked Twitter, and it was like Cristiano Ronaldo was a done deal to Man City, and I was like, "Fucking hell, okay." I woke up, looked at my phone, and it's like, man, Ronaldo signs for United, and I was literally like, "How long was I asleep?"
I remember because I messaged you, Stan. Like, do you want to talk about what's happening today? He's like, what's happening today? Hey, Ronaldo signed.
You like, do you want to talk about what's happened? I'm like, what's happened? Like, you know, as my missus left me, what's happened? What do you know that I don't know? And you're like, well, Ronaldo signed for United. I was like, I literally, when you said that, I was thinking, how long was I asleep? And I touched my face to see how big my beard was. And like, when you're in a coma, and
you even said like you thought that I had mistyped it because you messaged me back saying that you mean City. No, United, man. United. Like, hey, PSG have signed in this transfer window Messi, Donnarumma, Hakimi, Ramos, and Wijnaldum, right? Like, I mean, nobody can say that it's not FIFA anymore.
Can I just say as well?
Exactly. And we played by the rules. I have spoken to my Chelsea supporting fans, and 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I was like, wait till FFP kicks in, and then we're going to be the big guys because you're going to not be able to do anything, and we'll be like the Bayern Munich of England and all of that. And then
there is a caveat, and
like,
right,
rub their genitals all over our face.
There is a caveat, and Ray Anderson makes a very good point on this Eddie Edouard thing that I mentioned, and that is that there was an agreement actually, but Palace could not. Where is it then when this young lad from Hale End, who's hardly had much to do with the first team, is in a situation where a Premier League club cannot agree terms with him to give him a place in their squad? How much will we fucking paying Eddie Nketiah, where he's looked at it, and he got to look at it another way. Yeah, you could say, well, shouldn't he want to be playing football? He also has employment, and footballers do have a very short window of employment, where he's turned around and said, you know what? I'd rather stay at Arsenal where I know I'm not part of the... How much will we be paying this guy where he's turned down? And not only is he turning it down, he's turned down going to play under, with Vieira and all of the Arsenal connection. It is crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I agree. I mean, why would you do that? You could exactly. I can't even add to that. I totally agree. What's he thinking? He's getting bad advice.
Well, it's not that he's getting bad advice. It's that we're obviously overpaying him. We're overpaying a lot of our players. This is why the biggest crime. I look at, if I was writing a book about my time, if I'd started writing a book from when I was like 8 or 9, when I started supporting Arsenal, the chapter that I'd be writing now, the chapter would be called "The Sins of Arteta." Because when you look at there's so many, this one particular example that I'm going to give you has so many different facets to it, and that is, you've got a player like Saeed Kolasinac, who the manager has said, I don't want you last season, I don't want you, I'm going to let you go away for free somewhere and play on loan somewhere else. So much so that even though frail Kieran Tierney, who can break down, you're his only backup, you're so fucking pants, Saeed. I don't want you around. I'd rather play Xhaka in that backup position. And then what happens? He comes back to the club. Meanwhile, he's gone out and he's spent money on the left backup in Tavares. And he's gone out and he spent money on the centre back in Pablo Mari. And for whatever reason now, this player that you exiled has come back, and rather than you play him in the centre of your defence, not even as your left back, he's fucking shit in his regular position, let alone playing in someone else's. And you've got Pablo Mari sat on the bench looking at that thinking, well, I'm a centre back. and you've got Tavares sitting there thinking, well, surely if I've been brought in and Kolasinac out of favour, wouldn't he be playing at least maybe Tierney in there, who's played in there before, and I'll play in left back position, which is what I was bought for. There's so many messages it sends out by doing that to so many different people. It sends a mixed message. I don't understand how. I don't understand. That one decision for me is really a really great example of Mikel Arteta and what he's like, what his thinking is like. Because that one decision fucks up so many different people in the squad. You got Saeed Kolasinac thinking, last week I was talking about buying me out. What the fuck? You're playing me? You've got Tavares coming in and going, well, am I that bad that you'd rather play him in that centre back, have Tierney out there, and I can't play? Then they've got Pablo Mari sitting there thinking, hello, central defender here that you brought in. It's just, how do you?
I don't know why.
Boss?
Maybe
if your boss calls you in the next day, right after that match, and calls you in and asks you to explain that, and asks you to say, why did you ask me to give you the money for those other two? How do you fucking bullshit your way out of that?
I think Nketiah is a poor man's Danny Welbeck, and the only reason I can think of him.
Don't bring Danny Welbeck into this. Come on.
The only thing I can. I loved
respect.
him when he came to Arsenal too. Okay, but all right. Before Nketiah got hurt, he was the number 3 striker on the depth chart, and when he got hurt, Balogun took the number 3 spot. Perhaps Nketiah is back in the number 3 spot, and he knows this is Arsenal, and there will always be injuries, and he will get a chance to play. Maybe that's why he stayed.
But he ain't signing a contract. We've put a contract in front of him that he don't want to sign. He's gone to Crystal Palace, and for whatever reasons, he looked at their terms and gone, no. It's an odd one. How have we turned this young lad? Seems, I mean, he must be on good terms in his current contract to be in that position, to be that fussy and picky. That's what I think, and that's got to be down to the environment and that we fostered for him.
If I was Arsenal and I believed in him and I wanted him to go on loan, I'd be like, hey, maybe we can pay that little extra. This is the difference between you and Palace. If I believed in him, I would do something like that. But I don't rate him.
Like for everyone, I hope that the signings that we've made, they come good, and we are planning for the future. But anyone who's defending Arteta, hedging their bets that these signings will come good, just remember that Arteta is the one who signed Murray, Cedric, Rennerson, and Willian. He's the one who signed all of them. He's given an extension to Xhaka.
The one thing I will say is I don't think Murray belongs in that conversation. I don't think Murray's a starting center back for us.
Yeah,
I think the other 3 are because depth. We need depth. You can't just sign 11 starters.
And then he benched him against City. And
he may not be a starter, but isn't he the backup for Gabriel
Murray's
Magalhaes?
only starting because we have injuries.
Yeah, but
he's not even starting. He started Kolasinac.
Gabriel, he's supposed to be the backup. He's a left-sided centre back. You would think that him and Gabriel Magalhaes are fighting it out for that position. It's one of them two. It's between them two to be the best, right? If it's Gabriel and he's out injured, then Murray comes in. But he's bringing in Kolasinac, who can't even play well in his own position, let alone another. It doesn't make sense.
Kolasinac, who went to the Bundesliga, got Schalke relegated, got chased around by their fans. Was a problem there.
You're right.
He literally got ran out of the stadium, man.
Right. And Arteta is also the guy who didn't give Guendouzi a chance or Torreira, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who all of us rated, but he did not rate. So how much are we trusting his signings to do well? So I don't know. There's a limit to arrogance, and this club is just in the dumps because it gives people the leisure and the leeway to know that you can just come here for a holiday. We are perpetually on the beach, right? Now, it doesn't matter. Wenger had a very long leash, Why? Because in his first 8 years, he won trophies. That's why he had a leash. He won the league in his first full season. That's how a manager needs to be. First, you prove your credentials that you can win, and then you get a chance to implement your mad scientist ideas. But for some reason, we've allowed it to be the other way. I mean, if I was the manager there, I'd never sign a new player. I'd just keep extending players' contracts and then always have the excuse that these are from the previous regime. What is happening? Like, I mean, the more I think about it, like I write things down and I see it, I get like just more angry and like, yeah.
The one thing I will justify about signing Kolasinac over Mari is A, Mari had a real stinker his last game. B, I did hear there was a dust up in training, but I didn't think it was anything big deal. And apparently they had an argument on the bench against Man City. And I don't agree with this, but this is the only thing I can fucking think of. Kolasinac is a fucking tank. And I think he thought that Kolasinac could bully Gabriel Jesus, but I don't know. But the one thing I do want to say is I know someone said, and everyone does, someone said this I think earlier in our transfer deadline show. Oh, I don't get why you send out Saliba on loan and you keep Kolasinac. Doesn't make any sense. Well, here's the facts. We want Saliba to get minutes because he's going to get better if he gets minutes, and he wants first team minutes because he's young and he's a promising star. So either we're going to bring him back into the team, we're going to play him, or we're just going to sell him for a nice profit. So why the fuck would we keep him on our bench and only play him if an injury happens and yet loan out Kolasinac, who offers no value to us one way or another? I don't understand that argument that everyone keeps going crazy about how, oh, Saliba's out on loan and we still have Kolasinac. Well, yeah, it makes fucking sense. Saliba needs minutes. And he's not going to get it here because for some reason Arteta doesn't rate him. I think Saliba's too soft for Premier League right now. I think he could be better. But, we'll see. A new match can come in and just be like, fuck this. Let's bring back Saliba and start him.
Ryan, it's difficult. It's difficult for Arsenal fans. I hear what you're saying, but I mean, just the other week, and I don't watch the French league, but I'm reading headlines about the game that Saliba played in, and I'm reading headlines that the phrase that they used for the last game that he played in was masterclass. I didn't watch the game, but when you're reading headlines like that and you're thinking, fucking hell, he's an Arsenal player, and you're looking at Holding and fucking Chambers in the middle or fucking Kolasinac in there, you're thinking to yourself, surely this kid could be given a go. Couldn't he be learning his trade? I'd rather him be learning his trade and being a bit raw in the centre of our defence than playing Kolasinac there.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
I agree, but he's not going to start. I agree, but he's not going to start.
Why is he still here?
He should start ahead of Kolasinac, surely.
But he's not. But he's not
How
here.
can he not?
But he's not. He's not here.
Ahead of Holding also, who is another player who Arteta, our very own manager, has given a new contract.
I don't think Holding's that bad either. Is he good to get top 4? Maybe not. I think he's. I think Holding's.
Have you seen the last 3 games?
He's not a.
Holding's a squad player.
Ballard ahead of Kolasinac.
Holding's a squad.
That's how he signed Ben White. Everyone's like, oh, why was Spike on Ben White? Because you have players like Mari and Holding that can't fucking start for us. They shouldn't be starting for us. That's
yeah, but if you're a squad player and you've got injuries, then that squad player comes in. You don't keep the squad player out and jigger it around and put a square.
No, I agree. That's why I don't want Arteta here anymore. I think his man management or lack thereof skills got him in this position. I think he had a falling out.
Well, basically, then our backup players are shit as well. Then, if Murray's a backup player and he won't play him when there's other injuries, he's there to back up.
Yeah,
he won't play him as a backup. Then he must be shit as well.
Yeah. This is Kolasinac is just another piece of the puzzle that frustrates Arsenal fans. When we first got him, I said, "Hey, this guy he's got a big heart. He might be a good player. He's not good enough for the Premier League." His highlight for Arsenal is defending Ozil from a knife attack. It's true.
Hey, he fucking kicked those guys' asses. All right.
Yeah, I agree. But the point is, he could be a great left back in the Bundesliga for half the teams there. How did we not sell him? What was he doing playing center back?
No, he did go to the Bundesliga and got the team relegated. That's what happened. Yeah.
If you're brought in as a centre back in a team and you get some appearances and then you start to realise, okay, I'm not a first starter, I'm a fucking backup here. And then everyone around you gets fucking injured or suspended or whatever it is. And then a guy that's no longer wanted by the team is coming in and playing your position. That's not going to help you. If I was Pablo Mari, I'd be like, I'm out of it.
My initial impression of Mari My
I would
initial
be like that. You're taking the piss. Why'd you buy me for? I would be. All right, I know that I'm not your first pick, boss, but everybody's out ravaged, and rather than give me a game, you're going to put that fucker in? No.
No, I agree with that. Although I think Mari is my initial impression is he's not good enough for the Premier League. I'd rather have seen him than Kolasinac. Yes.
I agree.
I mean,
I
there
guess
was a simple
take
solution to
Kolasinac
it.
out of this. My response to the holding Amari thing is look at Liverpool. They lost their 2 center backs. I think they may have lost a third. Other than that, they lost Van Dijk. It was really only center back that really cares. Look where they fell. They were supposed to win. Everyone's like, oh, they're going to repeat. That's easy. Van Dijk goes down. Would they finish? I think they snuck into the 4th spot.
Here's a question, right? Now that the window is shut, and we now know where all of the dominoes have fallen, right? What is our first team now? Tell me what. It's interesting, right? We know what we've got. So who should our first team be in your eyes when we come back from this international break and we line up against Norwich? What is it?
I was sorry. Mike tweeted something funny about our show, which you should have checked out. I had no idea what you said. You might repeat it.
My starting 11 is get Ramsdale in. Yeah, because Leno is just not performing. He's not commanding. And we've got a new keeper for 25 million. Let's try it.
So this is why I asked it. I want to know how many of what we've bought are first team players. So Ramsdale's a first team player then, right?
Yeah.
What you're saying?
Ramsdale, Tierney, Gabriel, Ben White. So Ben White is a first team player. Then we've got Double T, who's a first team player.
Mm-hmm.
We'll play Partey. We should have bought another, even if Bissouma is very similar to him, I think he can do a more defensive job. And Partey in the last one season has shown that he's just injured all the time anyway, right? So, but Partey plus Lokonga, who again, another weird one because he was our best player for 2 games and then he got dropped. Again, don't know why. So that. And then we've got to play Pepe, Odegaard, Saka, and Aubameyang up front. And
totally agree.
And on the bench, we have Lacazette, who comes on for Saka. We have ESR, who comes on for Odegaard. We have Martinelli, who comes on for Saka. And then if you want to chop and change, we've got El Neni in the team to close out the game. We've got, Xhaka can be a squad player, that sort of a thing. So, but yeah, this is my 11.
I agree with that. Did you have the Japanese kid at right back? I didn't hear that. Okay, yes. I totally agree. Ditto. That's my response. Ditto.
Sorry, I gotta keep my composure here. Everything that Ion said in the chat, I want that 11, except instead of Abba, I want Lacazette. I mean,
share the joke. What's the joke?
Mike just tweeted. So Rohan made a comment about putting genitals on people's faces, and the look on my face when I heard that, it's all over Twitter.
That's why I don't put the comments on. I would just start laughing and not hear any of it.
No. This happened on the podcast, Glenn.
Oh,
and then Mike just tweeted a picture of my face perking up. Like I just saw a ghost. Yeah, it's very funny.
Mike's so professional on his show, and he's such a little instigator in the comments.
It's so funny. No, so see, I'm having a difficult time because yes, I have allegiance to Leno. I like Leno. I don't think he's as bad as everyone says he is. But back in my head, I do feel that he's not. Well, I don't think he's going to be here next season, and I think. Deep down in deep down in the back of my brain somewhere, I think he knows that too, and I think he could definitely. I think he could be playing better. I know this means nothing. It doesn't mean anything to me, really. Well, it does a little bit to me because I like Leno. He's the reason we didn't get railed by Chelsea. They should have scored 5 or 6 on us, and they did it because Leno made a couple of fantastic saves, and he did the same thing against City. Problem is, why
you think it's fair to say then that if he does want to go, let's say maybe halfway through the season, would you then expect Ramsdale to be playing more games by that point. Do you know what I mean? If he's going to be transitioning in.
Yeah, I do. I think that if Leno has a talk, I think they need to have a talk with Leno and be like, hey, where do you see yourself? Because we bought this Ramsdale guy in, and he's gonna eventually take over for you, and it's gonna be sooner rather than later if you don't ship up. And if you want to leave, that's fine. You've been a loyal servant to our club. You've been a great player. He had 2 player of the seasons for us. You know, him and Aubameyang were our whole fucking team one season. But decisions got to be made, because I do think a player like Ramsdale needs more games. You can't. It's difficult to. You're not going to sub a goalie on at halftime. You're not going to sub a goalie on at the 70th minute. That's just not going to happen. So for Ramsdale to get minutes, he needs to play 90. He needs to start a game.
I agree.
Be, more difficult.
Ryan, I agree with you. I like Leno. I hope he stays. I hope this isn't his last season with Arsenal. But the only thing I would add to that is I think he needs a fire lit under him. And Sophie talked me into this afternoon. I'd like to see Ramsdale start against Norwich, see what he's got.
I wouldn't hate it. As much as I like Leno, I really wouldn't hate it. I'm excited for Ramsdale. I think for what we want to do. Yeah, I think, again, I don't want Arteta to fail just because I don't want him here and I don't think he's good enough. I don't want him to fail.
Nobody wants Arteta to fail.
No, I know,
don't even go down it.
No, people do. That's my point. People do. So my point is I think Ramsdale gives Arteta the best chance at coming out of this window that we all talked about in one piece. I think Ramsdale, just by us scoring, playing, kind of what we just talked about all tonight, playing attractive football, scoring goals, putting some oomph in our step. I think Ramsdale's the guy. I think Leno is kind of a safe choice. He's going to make those saves and maybe keep us in the game, but he's not going to help us, playing the ball from the back and make those tough decisions.
I think out of everyone that we've brought in, Sambi Lokonga, is he a starter?
Yes.
Yeah, because he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be because he's inexperienced and young.
Agreed.
He should be learning. But right now, the choice is between El Neni, Xhaka, and Lokonga.
What should he
So everyone fit with
what
with even Party fit as well. Do you think Sambi Lokonga is like we should be putting straight in
I'm
there?
confused. What does Sambi Lokonga need to learn? Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Play in the big league. To play in the big league. Like, I mean, we haven't seen enough of him. He's a 22-year-old guy who come from the Belgian league. Like,
but I've seen enough of anybody else to put in his position to know that he's the best option that we have. And if he's going to look, and wait.
I know what Rohan's trying to say.
Whoa. I've been quiet for half an hour. Silence. It's my turn.
Yell at us and let food come out of your mouth while you're yelling at us.
I know, right? I'm eating these dots. These things are like fucking crack, by the way.
Oh, my God.
You're like my dad. Whenever he yells at me for playing video games early.
Oh, they look lovely, Tanner. I do like a pretzel. They look lovely.
Okay, Tanner, go on.
Tremendous.
Come on, Tanner. Let's go. Here's your time to shine, buddy.
Yeah,
So
you've been quiet for half an hour.
So let me get this straight. Sambi Lokonga needs to learn how to play in the big leagues by training. That makes no fucking sense.
Okay.
He's not going to learn how to play in the big leagues if he doesn't play in the
maybe
big
that should
leagues.
Maybe that should be reframed, BG.
Here's the thing. Okay, I have seen enough 18-year-olds. 18. He's not 18, but I've seen enough 18-year-old athletes take their sport by storm.
Okay.
I get the sentiment behind it, Rowan, but no, he doesn't need to learn. And if he's going to throw him out there, because at this point, again, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
We can't score negative goals with him on the pitch.
I think the point is, in an ideal world, if we weren't back-to-back eighth and we were in Europa League competition, I completely agree with what Rohan is saying. I think we shouldn't have to rely on him. We shouldn't have to bring him in and need to be like, all right, here you go. Here's your start. The one thing I'm going to do with Tanner.
If I had confidence, I would love that if a team told me that. Go ahead, and then I'll.
Yeah, but I guess my point is we finished back-to-back eighth place, and we have no Europa League competition, Europe competition. So we need to take these kind of risks because I think he's the future, and I think why not start him now? It's not like we could play him in the Europa League, But to your point, Rohan, I get what you were. I think I was getting what you were trying to say.
Pardon me for being, a scarred Arsenal fan who's seen a lackluster central midfield for the last 15 years, right? Like, which is why I think that there should be some experience there, and this new kid shouldn't be like thrown into, the deep end, and can learn from somebody who's better than, or who's more experienced. Why should he have all the burden on his shoulder at 18?
Which matters more, talent and ability or experience? Which would you rather have, talent and ability or experience?
All right, can I answer?
You had to pick one.
Binary.
Talent and ability, right?
So if he's exhibiting the fact that he has talent and ability, which he's done, because he's been arguably our best player so far this shitty season, why would you then say
I would like to have a word with you.
Let me just.
I said arguably. Hang on, I said arguably.
Let me just tweak the question very slightly. Then just tweak it a little bit and say, with everybody fit, with everyone to choose from, is Granit Xhaka gonna impede Lokonga's game time?
Yes,
because Partey's going to start. We know Partey. We spend
more to the point, and I'm going to completely disagree with Rohan here. Not only is Granit Xhaka going to impede Sammy Lokonga's playing time, he's going to impede his progression, his development, because he's not going to play. Because Granit Xhaka is going to play. Sammy Lokonga will get no experience because Granit Xhaka is going to play.
Then that's on Arteta. We are not talking about
Arteta. But you can't sit there and say he needs experience, but then sit there and say he can't. Like that, you need experience to get experience, right?
Yeah, the experience shouldn't have to be that he has to play 50 games as number one choice, and then you're saying that no, he's not going to play 50 games.
You make a great point.
But that wasn't the initial question. The initial question was what, in our opinion, is the best team. Because I know that come Norwich, it's going to be Leno that's going to start. It will not be Ramsdale.
That's fine. That's
in
fine.
our hypothetical, world, we all named Aaron Ramsdale as the striker, as the starter, right? Like that's how. And for me, central midfield is the most important position in a football game, right? Because that's the real spine. That's the real heart of the team that controls the whole game, right? Like, I mean, so why would you put inexperience there? We put that inexperience there. We've tried with different players and it's not worked out.
Yes, this is all down to management. Yes, Jacques is going to play next to Partey. But if Glenn, with the bulging vein in his forehead, was manager of Arsenal, I'd say put Lokonga in there instead of Xhaka, because I know what Xhaka gives me. I know what El Neni gives me. And Lokonga's shown me enough. Throw him in there. We're going to be relying on these young kids anyway if we're going to surpass these dour predictions that we're doing. Put the kid in there. But yes, Xhaka is going to impede his progress.
It comes down to me. It comes down to this for me. So we've seen Lokonga and Xhaka in the midfield in 2 games. Together in the midfield in 2 games. So we can take those games and we can look at them and we can say, okay, who was the better of the 2? Because we know that Thomas Partey is the best of the 3. So who was the better of the 2 between Lokonga and Xhaka? To me, that answer is clear and cut. It's not even close. It's comparing apples and rhinoceroses.
They gave Xhaka the frigging armband, the captain's armband.
And you know what? We've talked so long about wanting people here who are hungry and want to play, and they're young and they're energetic, and then all of a sudden everybody says, but now they need experience. I want somebody that's young and hungry and wants to play.
I just want.
But I don't want to play him because he doesn't have any experience.
I agree. I think Partey and Lokonga should play together. I just don't know if it would work. I want to see it. And I think, again, sprinkling it on, I think Tomiyasu is going to be the key to unlock this. I think with Tomiyasu playing, we're going to see if Lokonga and Partey can exist together. Because I honestly, before the season started, I didn't think they could. I was like, I don't know. They're too similar. I don't think it's going to work. But I agree. I really do think that I do think that we should try this out, and we're gonna have a chance, hopefully, because Jacques is after fucking 3 games. So already on.
Did Sammy Lokonga do anything in the first 2 games to deserve to be dropped?
No.
I mean, if you want me to nitpick, I'll nitpick in that he's easily.
No, I don't want you to nitpick because you don't nitpick with anyone else, so don't nitpick with him.
What do you mean? I nitpick with everybody. What are you talking about?
Did Granit Xhaka do anything to deserve to be dropped in the
He got sent off.
Games that he's played?
He said he dropped himself.
Did he do anything to deserve to be dropped?
In what game? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
In any of the games that he's played, has he done anything to deserve to be dropped?
You're asking me this?
I'm asking the panel.
I think you know the answer to my question.
So then why on earth would Sammy Lokonga not get the start over Granit Xhaka?
Arteta.
Arteta, and I think
no, for you, not for Arteta. I know why for Arteta.
No, he would have got the start for us, right? But what I'm saying is that you get some more experience there, and it's not like that player is going to play all the time. And Lokonga should be playing at this stage. For me, he should be playing 20 games. He should not be playing 45 games in a season, right? That's what I think. This is a long-term project that we're talking about, right?
I mean,
that is how it is.
Here's what I think is going to happen here, because I asked a question about this midfield, but I think what my answer is here. He's going to obviously start off with Partey and Xhaka, and at some point, right, Xhaka will be forced to miss games, as Xhaka always is.
He's already missing games.
He's missing the next 3.
Yeah, exactly, right? Which means Sambi Lokonga will have to play. And I've got a feeling that it could be another, these football gods forced a happy accident on Arteta with ESR and Saka. Because remember, that wasn't just him doing that. It was kind of forced upon him.
Right.
I've got a feeling that because of who Granit Xhaka is, at some point, and I forget now, he's out for the next 3 games. Maybe he just signed his death certificate. Because if Sambi Lokonga's got to play for those next 3 games, and he plays very well and makes a good account of himself, Xhaka cannot just walk back into the team.
I'm going to ask the last
question. And as for the nitpicking thing, I will say, Ryan, I will say, the Arsenal Luchador does refer to you as Senior Nitpick.
Thank you. I appreciate that one. Thank you. I do have a badge of honor.
Last question of the night. So, Granit Xhaka doesn't play the next 3 games. One of those is the North London Derby, and we get 3 wins on the trot.
Oh, that's right. He's not playing. Wait, no, time out. No. Does Wimbledon count? I think Wimbledon counts. It's domestic. Yeah. So he does play. He can play against Tottenham.
All right.
Fuck. I just upset myself. God.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. Xhaka got a red card. He misses
the next 3 games, and we win the next 3 games, including Wimbledon.
God damn you!
I tried to put that game out of my head. I tried to put that game out of my head, and I totally forgot. He's suspended for 3 games.
Includes the Wimbledon game, right? Yeah.
So he's suspended through that.
So he's back for the North London Derby,
and we win these 3 games, and he comes back for the North London Derby. And we get throttled.
I mean, I'll get shit, but I'm going to completely blame him no matter what.
Are you blaming him or are you blaming Arteta?
He can only come back into the team if his replacements had a mare.
Yeah,
surely.
No, I mean, but we all know what we all know. Does anyone here think that Arteta is going to keep Xhaka out of the lineup?
I've seen no rhyme or reason to his substitutions and starting 11, so it wouldn't surprise me if that happened.
Just for shits and pure giggles.
We're talking about the manager that gave him a good game, son, pat on the arse when he got a fucking red card.
That's very true, Stan.
He really, I didn't even see that. He did that. He really. Stan, are you being?
He got a red card. He comes off. You sub a player off, Glenn, and you give him the old pat on the bum as good game.
He gave him a good game.
I was too busy having. I was too busy having an aneurysm after he did that. I didn't see that.
Instead of having his arms folded and giving him a cold stare as he walked past him, he gave him the old pat on the bum.
To be fair, while they were going over the red card, and it looked like Arteta and what's his name, Silverstein, the assistant, they were looking at the monitor. I'm pretty sure they were looking at the foul, and you could tell they were not happy about the red card. They did not think it was a red card. So my understanding is he
Then
got
they don't
the
know.
love tap.
Then we
There's
have
no. He went in with both feet. It was a red card.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not. I am the one. I am most pro. That was definitely a red card. My point is they didn't think it was a red card, so that's why I think that's probably why Jacques gave him a little love tap, saying like, "Yeah, shit happens. You fuck. Shouldn't have been a red, but go shower, please."
If like Arteta doesn't know that is a red card, then the problem is much deeper
Yes.
than what we're.
No, I agree, and I think that again.
That's so true.
I said this, and some people kind of thought I was crazy when I said with no Aubameyang, no Lacazette in the first game against Brentford. I was like, if Xhaka gets the armband, and I just said that. That's all I said. I didn't say anything with us playing Brentford. Nothing. I said if Xhaka gets the armband, I don't want Arteta to be the manager of Arsenal Football Club anymore, because that just shows where his head's at, where his loyalties are, what he thinks. I mean, and not necessarily what he thinks of Xhaka, because they say he's a leader, this and anything. He was on his way to Rome. He was liking Mourinho posts the whole summer. He was doing interviews during the Euro saying like, "Oh, I like Rome this time of year." He said something about liking Rome, but he can't get into it right now. You'll find out soon enough. And now we're giving him a fucking pay raise in the armband when Lacazette and Aubameyang around. Like yes, we should, Mike. We should call it the armbar. But it just doesn't make sense to me. And I said this in the pregame for the Brentford game. This would have been the perfect time to pass the torch to Kieran Tierney. And Kieran Tierney hasn't even got a sniff of the armband. Nene got it before him. Leno got it before him. I think Reece Nelson might have worn it for a brief minute or two. I don't know. Something's up with that. I would really love to know, because I don't think anybody is a better leader on this team than Kieran Tierney right now. So yeah. All right.
One thing I'd like to mention, and I've not mentioned this on any of the podcasts I've been on in the last few days since that last game. When I was watching that game and I saw that Xhaka got the red card, I wasn't like, "Oh fuck it." I literally sat back in I sat back in my sofa and I laughed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I said the same thing. I was laughing.
It was a sarcastic laugh, right? But what I'm saying is, like we've been hearing about some people that like I've been saying, like I'm at the stage where I'm turning the game off. I don't want to watch it anymore. I'm not there yet, but I've got a feeling that when you get to that apathetic stage where you're seeing something that you've been expecting, because once Xhaka got his contract renewed, I was like, well, it's only going to be a matter of time before we start counting on our fingers what he does. When is it coming? And here we are on our third game in, in the league. He does it. And I just sat back and laughed. And that's apathy. Mate, is the next stage after laughing where you think, fuck it, I'm not going to watch the game. I'm going to go and put that shelf up for the missus or change the oil in the car or take the cat to the vet, because I'm already at the stage where that game for me, that was a 4:30 kickoff in the morning. And I was like, I ain't getting up early for that shit. There's no way. I'll watch it on replay. No. Whereas I've got the replay facility, I enjoy to watch it live. But I'm like, I'm not getting up at 4:30. I'm going to be groggy all day for the rest of the day because I can't go back to bed, and I'm going to be pissed off. Fuck it. So am I on that path now where I'm going to be like, I'm not watching games or turning them off halfway? I hope not.
I think you know what happened. It's kind of same thing with me, Stan. That game was at 7:30 a.m. and the night before we had house rocking thunderstorms, so I didn't get much sleep. So for one of the rare occasions I didn't watch it live. When Xhaka got that red card, I'm watching the game on DVR. Like I said, I had an aneurysm. I think I threw the controller down, and it was late enough in the day that I'm like, you know what? I'm just watching the extended highlights. I'm not watching the rest of this fucking game. And if they come back in the extended highlights, I'll switch back to the other DVR game. I never would have done that in the past. I watch every game beginning to end. They've become so pitiful and so awful to watch that and like Sophie said this afternoon, I've seen the movie over and over again, and it's a bad movie.
And I laughed not because I'm not angry with Xhaka anymore, because Xhaka's not like a new player that's only just come to our club, and we're looking at this guy and we're thinking, what is this guy's problem? This guy's been around Arsenal for some time now. And I'm seeing him do the same things. And I'm at the stage now where I'm like, well, this is just who this guy is. And there's a quote that I took a snap of Arsene Wenger talking about fucking Granit Xhaka, and he said it's more the way he tackles that is not really convincing. He doesn't master well the technique of tackling. That's what Arsene Wenger says. He shouldn't be tackling. So when I laugh, I don't blame Xhaka anymore because Xhaka doesn't pick himself. Xhaka didn't extend his contract. The people that can make these changes and change that perception, they're not doing anything about it. So I don't blame the player. This is his job, right? He's been given an extension in his job, and everybody knows it's like hiring an accountant that can't fucking do multiplication. You know there's going to be mistakes in the spreadsheet. You know you can't fucking multiply, but you're keeping with it. So you have to accept it. And you have to be angry at the people that are keeping that, or fostering that environment. And it's not Xhaka, as I say, it's not Xhaka that re-signs his contracts or picks himself. It's other people, and they're not doing anything about it.
So the one thing I will say really quick to add a little wrinkle into this Lokanga Xhaka argument. So we recently decided to keep a certain player, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and we don't know where he's playing. But Arteta, came out. Arteta didn't actually say this, but reporters reported that Ainsley Maitland-Niles is staying, and he's going to be in our plans. He's going to be in Arteta's plans. Do you think maybe that Xhaka's out for 3 games? Do you think maybe he gets a look there?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope. That's just me. Nope.
Yeah. I don't know what you guys think, because he did, and I'll give you guys a little context. Early in the season, he came back from West Brom. He did tell the staff, he did tell Arteta that he solely will commit himself as a fullback for this club if he needs to. Even though he's came out multiple times, he said, yeah, central midfield is obviously his desired favorite position, but he will do what he wants. If they want him to play left wing back, right back, whatever, he'll do it. So that's an interesting thing. But I'm curious to think if you guys see a future for AMN in the center midfield for us, especially with Xhaka being gone.
I'd like for him to play there. I'd like anyone to play before Xhaka, really.
Fair.
But I don't think he's going to and that's Arteta's man management skills also, right? He's made up his mind, and he is going to double down on that because he thinks that a true manager cannot be taken or cannot be dictated, right? Like you can't dictate him.
Large, everybody.
The Taliban are coming.
I gotta go. Can I just say one thing? Unless Arsenal's third kid is the Swiss national team's shirt, he's never going to be good enough for Arsenal, because I don't understand how he does so well in the Euros and he's so average for us.
They play differently. The game is slower.
I get it.
Do more. They play a different system.
It was a pleasure, guys. I have to go. Take it easy. I'll talk to you soon if I can figure out how to X out of that.
There you go. You figured it out. But yeah, I'm just curious because we don't have to go through this whole AMN thing. We're already at 2 hours. Probably wrap it up. But the only thing I will say is I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with him, because he came out and said what he said on Instagram, and there was links with him going to Everton on loan. There's just links everywhere. He says he wants to play fullback, but we all know his preferred position is at center mid. We just so happen to have one of our starting center mids out for 3 games due to a red card. Thomas Partey's injured. He probably should be back for Norwich, but he might not be. We don't know. I'm very curious to see where AMN goes forward, because like the Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein both reported, Arteta sees AMN in his plans, and that's why they pulled the plug on any move. Yeah, I know, and there was rumors that ever since the Instagram post came out that he's now not training with the first team for a week, which I think is absolutely ridiculous.
I saw a really funny meme on this, and this is maybe the last thing on AMN, but there was a really funny meme in which this Arsenal media guy is sitting there and he says, "Oh, AMN has posted something on Instagram," and Arteta.
They look at the drones.
He's like,
"Yeah,
solitary, 1 week, no water."
Yeah, I saw that. That was so funny.
The dictatorship.
Yeah. And it just sucks because I think too, I don't think AMN is a world beater. I don't think he's. You know. I think he can play for the English national team. I think he can be good enough to at least make it onto the squad for tournaments. But yeah, I feel. I'm sorry. I do think a lot of it's his doing. But I feel bad for the player, and I want to figure him out. And if that means selling him in January, then that's fine. But he's someone. I think he's better than Xhaka as a right back, left wing back, left back, right back, center mid. I think he could do and more. I think he could do a better job than Elneny if we're playing a certain way. I don't know. I think he's better than Cedric at right back. I think he can be better than Chambers if we use him right. I think he is. Well, Hector's not here. See you later, Hector. Put one for the homies. But yeah, I don't know. I think for me going forward, I guess this will be my final word. I'm very excited about our signings. I do think Xhaka getting a pay raise is a big letdown, and it does affect my grade on the transfer window. But I'm excited for Tomiyasu, and I'm excited for Lukanga, and I hope we could really unlock AMN because we were going to sell him to Wolves for 20 million, and we pulled the plug, and we haven't done shit for him since. I truly believe, and this is me, and I'm saying this, I truly believe I don't think he's going to play with Arteta at the helm. So hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully he leaves, but if he doesn't do the job, we get a new manager in, and we can unlock that potential in AMN because I do believe that we could sell him or if we do sell him in the future, I do believe his market value is going to be way more than 20 million if we play him and give him a consistent position, not a consistent position, but just consistent run of games. And he accepts that, you might be the James Milner or the Phil Neville of this squad. It just might happen. And if he can accept that, I think we have a good player. Anybody
Okay.
else?
Well, you got into final thoughts, so that's a good segue. Rohan, I'll go ahead and give you your final thought time.
Yeah, lots of signings. I don't know where it's going to go. Like I've spoken about the previous signings that Arteta has made, and some of them have been complete disasters in my opinion. Hopefully, this is not going to be that, but an outgoing player, right? Hector Bellerin, who when he burst on the scenes, he was one of the guys that we thought was going to be a world beater, right? And that's the thing about hedging your bets on youngsters, right? I don't know, like I still remember that Bayern game like it was yesterday, where he burst on the scenes and he really, that was our win against Bayern, right? Like that we qualified into the knockout stages and stuff. And I was like, Hector Bellerin, this is going to be our guy. And then Barcelona came in and we were begging for, Arsenal to keep him. And then how time has changed and that today, he had to go out like that. So hopefully that doesn't turn out with our new signings. We're going to be vocal and critical about our club, about the dealings of our club, the manager, because nobody is bigger than the club. But once we cross that white line, our team crosses that white line, we're behind the manager, we're behind the players, we're behind the whole setup. So, that's kind of what it is. Let's take this international break to rationalize everything and then come back strong. I really hope that we can really make a difference, because for me, 6 months, even 3 months is a long time for a manager to make his mark. And Arteta hasn't made it in 20 months. Let's hope he makes it to the next 3 or 4.
Well said.
I'm going to bring Stan back in here and give him a chance. Let's see. Something might have happened there. Yep, there he is. Stan, perfect timing. Go ahead with your final thought. Shout out the chat for me.
Just to finish off on the my final thought is I'm just going to leave it on because I've already basically told everybody about my deadline to the 30th. So I'm going to end my final thought on that Ainsley Maitland-Niles thing, and that's basically I think he will get minutes. I think at some point, just because of how threadbare the squad is, at some point, Mikel Arteta is going to probably have to draw from that well. And more than likely, it may be in the midfield position, rather at fullback, because he seems to have a lot of people in there. I've got a feeling that if Mikel Arteta doesn't have to play, and he won't, but we're so threadbare in the middle of the park, he's going to make the bench, and at some point, he's going to have to get minutes. And who knows? He may do enough to warrant an extended run in the team. So I'm not going to count anything out with Ainsley Maitland-Niles at all. And I'm just glad that the transfer window is over now, and I'm counting down the days to the 30th of October once we come back from that international break to see how all of this gels together.
Here. That's it for us. Good 2 hours plus of.
Hold on a minute. Can I just ask that? Dutch Gooner is like, is Stan the American lead judges?
I was gonna say that.
I'm from Peckham, mate, South London, but I live in Vancouver. I'm not American, but
yeah. We had a lot to get to tonight, gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here, Ryan. Long day for you and I, especially. Thank you very much for your efforts today. Stan and Rohan, good stuff as always. Thank you guys for joining us earlier today as well, and always for being here. Yeah, that's about all we got. I'm tired. I've got a vet appointment first thing tomorrow morning. So I'm out of here. We're out of here. It has been good footy talk. We'll see you out there.
Tomiyasu.